Most people think that advertising is just about creativity. They think that just because you poured a lot of money or a lot of effort into an ad that it's automatically supposed to succeed. But most ads actually fail to convert viewers into customers. And it's not because the ad was bad per se, but because it was missing one of the four key ingredients, which I'm going to share with you in today's video. So let's step over to the screen here. The four ingredients for a magic ad. Now I want to start off actually by showcasing some bad examples. And the first one we're going to start with is the Live for Now Pepsi ad with Kendall Jenner from 2017. Now when you look at this, and if you want, pause and go watch it because it's about a 2-minute video ad, but come back and then let's examine what's wrong with it at first. What doesn't work about this? See if you can tell me. The opposite of a magic ad, by the way, is a toxic ad because it's just poison to the company's performance. And that's kind of what this ad did. And for those that don't know, it's basically a video where Kendall Jenner comes in with a Pepsi and ends a protest because, I don't know, people love Pepsi, I guess, and that brings world peace, which is just very tone deaf and kind of untimely. There was a lot of protests and things going on like that. So it just made a bunch of noise. It just tried to be clever, but it wasn't being clear. It didn't create any desire whatsoever. Nobody saw this and say, oh, let me go drink a Pepsi. And it also didn't provide any proof. It was basically inauthentic as hell. So this ad, it basically collapsed and failed at reaching its intended goal. Pepsi probably was trying to say something like, we're right there with you guys, I guess, but it just came off really tone deaf. They were saying the world's problems can be solved by Pepsi, and so that's why this ad just fell flat on its face. But bad ads don't have to be toxic. They can also just be boring, and we can step over to another example here. This is the Smarter Planet ad campaign from IBM, and when I first look at this, I'm just totally bored immediately. I mean, these ran everywhere. They were in business journals, they were in airport magazines, and they weren't controversial or hated. They were just totally ignored. So when I look at these, I just see bland, muted colors, these long text blocks, a bunch of corporate jargon and things like that. It all sounds clever, maybe, when you read into it, but it's really just saying nothing. I don't even know what does IBM do from this. When I read this, I still don't know what they do. There's no human emotional pull at all. No one read this and felt drawn towards IBM. All I get from this is IBM is big, okay? Proof-wise, there's vague claims at best, and the kinds that anybody can make. And what really drives this home, that these are just very plain and boring, ineffective ads, is that if I remove these logos from the sides here, just cover them up with your hand and you won't even know whose ad this is. It's just totally has no identity whatsoever. So with that being said, let's move on to some magic ad examples. And the first one, you may have seen this before. It is Volkswagen Beetle ad campaigns starting from 1959. And on the left here, let's start with this one. What do we see? We see a Volkswagen Beetle in front of some white space. It's big, it's present, and it just says lemon below it. What does that mean? Well, if we read further into the text, basically, it goes on to say that this car is so scrutinized at the factory, it's so meticulously paid attention to detail that even a scuff on the glove box will have them designate this car as a lemon, and it needs to go back to the factory for repairs. So that just really drives home that this company pays so much attention to detail in the manufacturing process that it's gonna be very, very reliable. Such that even though this car, it looks perfect from the outside, it looks pristine, but it has a little scuff on the glove box, so they're gonna designate it's a lemon. And that works in your advantage as a consumer. And that really gives you that feeling of trust to Volkswagen with this car. On the right, we have an even more famous ad. You probably have seen this before if you're in advertising, but it's the Think Small. And this kind of really started it all. It works super well for Volkswagen. And the reason being is that it's because it knows what the car is. It's the company showing you what this car is. It's a small car. In an era of big American muscle cars, you have this German automaker coming in with this tiny car, and it's just such a contrast against that era that it just grabbed your attention immediately. And so we have that quiet, radical contrast. That is the first ingredient, is to court attention. And the second place where it succeeds is the clarity. I mean, you have instant understanding with this. The car is small, the brand knows it, nobody's hiding it. It is what it is. It's very clear. We also have desire. And desire is kind of reframed here. It's not forced, because the company, it's not selling size, it's not selling speed. It's kind of selling practicality as the intelligent choice, maybe. And I think it succeeds very well in that. And then we also have proof. So the body of the text kind of explains it more, but this car is very successful in fuel efficiency, reliability, ease of ownership. And so this campaign, it's just not hype at all. It's not slogans. It's just reasons to get a Volkswagen Beetle. Let's move on to our next example here. And this is the Avis We Try Harder campaigns from 1962. And let's just quickly look over these ads. What do they say? Avis is only number 2 in rent-a-car, so why go with us? Because Avis can't afford not to be nice. And that actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, this ad, it's kind of a pioneer in radical honesty. Nobody expects an ad or a company to admit their weaknesses. And just for doing that, I think Avis creates a lot of trust here. They also have a lot of clarity. They know, and you know, that Hertz is number 1 and Avis is number 2. Therefore, Avis has to try harder. It's very clear, it's very logical, it's very straightforward, and it's very honest. And then we have desire. It succeeds also in this front because people, they kind of want the underdog to win. I mean, nobody immediately just goes for the leader, or at least most people. They kind of want to see and root for the underdog. And so that triggers a lot of sympathy, I think. It kind of instigates trust. It kind of drives trust. It kind of makes you feel like you're going to be treated better because you're going with somebody that has to try harder to get to that number 1 spot. They're not there right now. So I think it's very successful in that front. And then we also have proof. The proof is in the cleaner cars. It's in the faster service. It's in the friendlier counters when you go to check in. It's specific, it's believable, and it's grounded. And Avis here, they're not claiming to be better. They're just explaining why they have to work harder. Now we move on to one of my favorite print ads, one of the famous ad campaigns of all time from Mr. David Ogilvy himself. We have the At 60 Miles an Hour from Rolls-Royce. And so, I mean, this is the Rolls-Royce of advertising. So who else can it come from but Rolls-Royce? At 60 miles an hour, the loudest noise in this new Rolls-Royce comes from the electric clock. And just this one sentence, it did more for this company than most companies do with 30 seconds of video advertising. And why is that? It's because it's crystal clear. It's that showing that Rolls-Royces are quiet, they are refined, and they are engineered just for total excellence. It also generates a lot of immense desire, I think. It never uses the words premium, elite, exclusive, etc. It's just implied rather than announced. And that line is backed up actually with an engineering report taken from inside the car. And even nowadays, Rolls-Royces, the newest models, they need to create artificial sound just because it's so quiet inside that it's kind of creepy, or it could be kind of bothersome for people inside the car. So they actually need to generate some noise because just so much insulation and the panels for the car are so thick that it's just too quiet. And so I think that's just pure credibility right there. We also have from Champion spark plugs here, kind of working off the credibility of Rolls-Royce. That's what they use in their car. So why wouldn't you? It's just proof. That it's just showcasing the proof of the quality and the reliability that you get. And this ad knows exactly who its target audience is, and it does it so well. That's really inspirational. This is that kind of ad that you could hang up on your wall and it would not look out of place at all. So let's go on to our last example here, and this is just a video ad from Apple. I'm sure some of you have seen this. This was all over the place when the iPhone first came out, and there's an app for that campaign. It even became a meme, I think. So let's just watch it really quick. It's just 30 seconds.
What's great about the iPhone is that if you want to check snow conditions on the mountain, there's an app for that. If you want to check how many calories are in your lunch, there's an app for that. And if you want to check where exactly you parked the car, there's even an app for that. Yep, there's an app for just about anything, only on the iPhone.
I think this succeeds really well because it's showcasing the proof. I mean, Apple has 1 million apps on the App Store for the iPhone, and they showcase that with clarity. And so that's ingredient number 4, which is proof. So let's just recap what we learned today. What are your takeaways? Ingredient number 1, court attention without making noise. And we had that with the Volkswagen ad, Think Small. What did we see? We had a tiny car in the canvas of a giant white space. And that contrast with typical advertising where colors are popping off at you and everyone's trying to take your attention, it really does kind of make you stop and just kind of reset. It's almost like a blank canvas. And so I think the VW ad is a good example of that. Ingredient number 2, provide clarity, not cleverness. So Avis is number 2, so we try harder. That's very clear. It's not trying to be clever. It's just almost factual. Like it's almost undeniable because they're number 2. Therefore, to claw their way to the number 1 spot above Hertz, they're going to have to try harder. And with that, you're going to get better service. You're going to get better support. You're going to get a better overall experience because you're working with the underdog who needs to train harder, try harder to succeed and get to the top. And ingredient number 3, manufacture desire rather than list features. And so Rolls-Royce, what do they offer you? They offer blissful silence and refined elegance. This is not just features, it's kind of giving you a feeling, it's kind of giving you a vibe. It is going after almost emotional, almost spiritual in a way. I mean, they are just undeniably showing that this is a premium product. It's a luxurious experience, and they are catering that to their potential customers, their viewers who want that. They want the finer things in life. And so they're going to have a lot of desire manufactured towards this product. And then we have ingredient number 4, provide credible proof, not hype or slogans. So Apple, there's an app for everything you need, and it's just undeniable. I mean, we know Apple has such a huge app store. They showed a few examples in just those 30 seconds, real world, useful examples that people want to go for, and that's going to provide the credible proof. So that's the 4th ingredient, and that is what you need to show. You need to show that you have a product here that has credible proof and not just trying to, come up with catchy slogans or things that people are going to go in one ear and out the other. You have to have a real world showcase that your product does what it says and it has something to offer. And so that's all the 4 ingredients. I hope you got something out of this video today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.